I'm here with Siphiwe Baleka, who has an inspiring story about how a life can be changed by paying attention. Siphiwe, I actually think that your story is really important, and I guess I'd actually like to start by having you talk about the award that you just received.
Okay. I just received the Healthy Trucking Association Legacy Award for my contributions to driver health and wellness. I started out as a truck driver at Prime. I went through Prime's student training, did a 3-year lease at Prime, and like a lot of drivers, I started gaining weight. And I realized I had to take responsibility for my health while I was out on the road. So I did. I started, doing basic push-ups, sit-ups, then started doing more exercise, started riding my bike, and I got pretty good at what I was doing. The exercise routines and the nutrition that I was doing. I talked to a lot of drivers, and I realized I was inspiring them, and that there was a real need for having some kind of health and fitness program designed specifically for truck drivers. So I used my background in athletic training and nutrition and sports and philosophy. I used all of that to design this program made specifically for long-haul truck drivers.
So I want to talk about that program, but I want to go back just a moment in your story. What was the moment for you? Do you remember the moment when you decided, this is my thing to take care of? This is my machine. I'm taking care of the machine on the road. I need to take care of the machine inside the cab.
Yeah, I do remember that moment because I started out, I didn't know anything about truck driving, and I was out on the road with my trainer, and I pretty much adapted to my trainer's lifestyle. So wherever he stopped to eat, that's where I ate. When he stopped, that's when I ate, and I pretty much ate what he ate. In the first 2 months of my driving career, I gained 15 pounds, and I got scared. I was an athlete in college. I'd never been overweight, and I realized that if I continued like this, I was going to be close to 200 pounds, and I was going to be overweight or obese. So I got scared, and I said, you know what? One way or another, I'm going to find 15 minutes every day to exercise, and I'm going to start paying attention to the food choices that I'm making.
When you say you got scared, obesity is certainly one of those things that can be frightening because we know the consequences. But was there something else about that? I mean, were you thinking to yourself, my long-term health could be tied in here?
I was. I mean, it's probably more vain than that. I was afraid I'm not going to like the way I look, and I don't want to be heavy and overweight. Sure, in the back of my mind, I realized that, there are all these health factors that are attributed to being overweight, but not only that, it's the hormonal changes that happen because of the stress of driving, because of the sleep deprivation. I was aware of it, and yeah, I didn't want to go down that road.
So you've come up with this training program. You started small, and I think that's a really interesting model. Tell me about what the training program is that you've developed. Okay. And then I want to go back to talk about how you started.
Okay. At Prime, we have this 13-week, what we call our basic program, and it's to help drivers transform their lives. Okay. The program is based around doing 15 minutes of exercise every day, and learning how to get the benefits of a 1-hour workout in 15 minutes.
Wow.
Okay, because drivers, we just don't have a lot of time.
That's right, and so you have to, if someone's going to commit to change, making it manageable is important.
It has to be
15 minutes.
It has to be manageable, it has to be reasonable, it has to be something that is what I call portable, meaning our schedules are always changing. Sometimes we're driving the day shift, sometimes the night, we're going to different places. We don't always know when we're going to have the time, but we know that there will be an opportunity at some point during the day. So 15 minutes is small enough that you can fit it in anywhere, whether you're at the shipper or the receiver. If you're not having to run really hard, and you can stop at a rest stop for 15 minutes, so you can do it anytime, anywhere. So it's short enough to do that, but it's long enough to get benefits. So the other aspect of it is the drivers log their food, everything that they eat and when they eat it for 13 weeks. And we use their nutrition log, and we use the data that comes from their body monitoring equipment that we give them in the program that measures their metabolic activity. We use that to coach the driver week by week, small changes that they can make that will increase their metabolism so that they burn calories while they're driving.
So you make the machine inside the machine
Yes.
more efficient.
Exactly.
When you think about what this means for the future of trucking, where do you see this in terms of value?
The first thing, and one of the most important lessons that I have learned in working with the drivers with this program, is that up until now, the common perception has been, you can't eat healthy on the road, there's no time to work out, it's just so hard. What we've learned, however, is that that's actually not the case. In fact, it's easier to do on the road than when you're at home, and I'll tell you a little story. The drivers that come into my program, okay, after about 6 or 7 weeks, they go home. And they always call me and they say, Siphiwe, I can't wait to get back on the truck because I went home, I didn't exercise, I didn't eat the way I was supposed to, and I gained weight when I went home. So now they're getting back on, in my program, they're getting back on their truck and they're losing weight. They're doing better when they're on their truck. So I'm hoping that by working with the Healthy Trucking Association of America, expanding my program, changing the mindset in the industry so that drivers realize this is the best opportunity they will have to transform their lives. It's not hard, it's actually easier.
I love the part of your story. I've had the privilege of talking to you just a little bit before we started rolling, to hear how you sort of found your inspiration. You talked about the personal piece, but you actually used the activity of while you were trucking, sort of the scenery and the ambiance of where you were as part of your motivation. I mean, how would you encourage other truckers to sort of begin thinking about using their work as inspiration to make some lifestyle changes?
Well, the advantage of being a truck driver is you get to go to all these amazing places across the country. You know, I might drive through Utah or Wyoming and see the mountains, and I want to climb or hike or do that. Or I might be, on the coast somewhere and I see the ocean and I want to go swim or surf or something. So for me, it was how can I take advantage of all these different amazing places that I was at. And I'm an active person. I had an athletic background in college. So I wanted to get out of the truck and explore these places. So I bought a fold-up mountain bike, a company called Montague. They make this bike called the Paratrooper. It's excellent for truck drivers. It folds up, fits in your sleeper cab. So I got one and I started riding. I'd visit state parks and I'd always see a lake. And I was like, wow, I'd love to go swim across that lake. So I bought a wetsuit and I would ride my bike, put my wetsuit on, swim across the lake and ride back to my truck. So those were the kind of things that I loved to do. And even if you're not an athletic person, you might be into music or theater. I am hoping to inspire drivers to realize that just because you're in the truck doesn't mean you can't pursue those kind of hobbies. Everywhere you go, there's a place to do music, there's a place to go to the theater. What if you like bowling? You can go to a bowling alley. So getting out and doing the things you love to do, finding a way to do that is kind of what this message is about.
And if you were going to tell truckers who are listening to this now about just one easy way they could get started with the program, maybe they don't have the 15-minute program for themselves yet, what are some things they could start doing today that would start them on that path?
What we've learned from the research is that any movement that you do that elevates your heart rate is going to be effective. For some drivers, walking will elevate their heart rate and engage their fat burning system. For other drivers, it could be dancing in their sleeper or shadow boxing on the side of the truck. If you can elevate your heart rate for at least 4 minutes every day, right, you will get an effect. And you can start doing it. It doesn't matter what the exercises are. You don't have to have some kind of fitness program. All you have to do is get out there and elevate your heart rate. And whatever you like to do that does that is going to be effective.
So find 4 minutes to start.
Yep. And
you mentioned some of the weight-bearing exercises. Is there one that you would tell people that they could start today?
Well, a lot of drivers, because of the weight they're carrying, they may have ankle, knee, hip issues. But you can stand in your truck or on the side of your truck and put your arms in the air like this and just do knee raises, and just, you know, you're standing up, but you're coming down with your arms and lifting your knee, do each side. That's going to elevate your heart rate, engage your fat burning system, and you're going to burn a lot of calories. You're going to increase your metabolism, and you're not putting stress on your joints, your knees, your ankles, so you're not going to get injured. And that's one of the most effective things a driver can do, and you can do it anywhere. You can do it on a fuel island.
So Siphiwe has these wonderful ideas to start today,
Yeah.
using the inspiration of being an over-the-road driver.
Yes.
And using, actually, the tools of the trade, if you will, to go ahead and start making those changes. Siphiwe, congratulations on your award. Thank you for sharing your story with us.
Thank you.